What's up, YouTube? I'm sorry, I'm Mike, and today I'm finally out of bed again. Feeling a decent bit better today. Finally, I woke up this morning, obviously feeling the best that I felt since I got sick, which inspires me to believe that maybe I did have an accurate diagnosis of bacterial pneumonia. Of course, who knows? I mean, if it was viral, shit. I mean, I've been sick for over a week, but nevertheless, let me try to stay on topic. My brain's not functioning on a high level. I have eaten zero solid food. That's not true. I had a little bit of solid food last night, but primarily I've had zero solid food in days. So you can kind of see how flat I am. Obviously, before I got sick, I always got like a hair in my fucking field of vision that makes me mental. Before I got sick, I was weighing in at 211 pounds in the morning, and I'd got up to 214.2 pounds in the evening, which was my highest weight ever. Today, well over a week into this thing, and I'm down to a little over 207 in the morning. So that puts us at about 3.5 pounds down in the morning, which, man, I mean, all things being told, having been bedridden for over a week, there's 0% chance I'm getting 1,000 calories a day. I just don't, I mean, if I'm getting 1,000 calories a day, it's coming purely in the form of Vitalite, liquid calories, Gatorade, shit like that. I've been eating a small amount of fruit, but my appetite has been terrible. And so that's basically the metrics for you guys. This video is actually going to be about a source that saved my life, but I wanted to give you those biometrics at least. So right now I'm feeling pretty positive. I'm only down about 3.5 pounds in the morning. Obviously, I'm not doing any kind of lifting or anything, and my muscles are flat. But I mean, right now I'm just trying to focus on getting well and as fast as possible and getting back to my routine. As I said in my previous video, I have only minorly changed my cycle. I stayed on all my injectables this entire time. Really, part of the reason, honestly, that I haven't pulled any injectables is to see if I would get better on them. There have been people who suggested that the reason that I'm sick is because I'm taking so much shit. And so I wanted to stay on as much as possible and see, like, if that's true, if that's the cause, then I should just stay sick. So 500 milligrams Test E, 200 milligrams Deca, 125 milligrams of Trenbolone E, and 400 milligrams of Masteron. I took out the Proviron and the MK a few days ago. So that's where we stand anabolic load. That's where my weight's at. This is what my body's looking like. I haven't even looked at my abs. So like on my viewfinder, I've got just bang 6 perfectly viewable abs. Somebody's gonna tell me when I go to publish this video that they can't be seen at all. Honestly, I feel like my abs should look even cleaner than they do now. I would have thought that I would be just absolutely shedding body fat during this illness. I cannot figure out why I'm not. It's nothing for me to lose 10 pounds during an illness. So I don't know if that means that I don't know what that means. But there you have it. So without further ado, I've made a lot of fucking boring content, and I know you guys I really appreciate you guys sticking around and viewing that content and keeping the channel momentum up. So what I want to do today actually is kind of say thank you to everybody in the audience and plug a business. And keep in mind, guys, this is a business, okay? We don't talk about sources on YouTube. This person operates a fully legal business in this country. And this business is called PCT24x7. I would like to personally give a big shout out to PCT24x7. He can be reached at the email address shop@PCT24 PCT24x7.store, I believe. And this person has a very, very large catalog of pharmaceuticals. These are prescription drugs, so obviously, you know, what you're going to do is you're going to get a prescription and you're just going to source it from him instead of the local pharmacy, because obviously no one is advocating that anyone break the law of any country you're living in. It is worth noting that these drugs are all India pharma grade. They are all brand or generic drugs that come from the Indian pharmacy. So you will see funny names on some of them, depending on what you order. Like for example, I'll go through some of the drugs that I've used, because having access to this medication has been an absolute lifesaver for me during my illness. One of the staple drugs that I think any human being in America, the fact that you can't buy this over the counter is a travesty. Every human being, again, this is not medical advice, this is my personal bro science, dumbass 43-year-old man, don't listen to anything that I say, but this is what I think. If I were you, every single person in the country should have on hand a drug called ondansetron. It's also known as Zofran. Zofran is the brand name. Ondansetron, I believe, was made for initially made for children with cancer. It is an anti-emetic. It's an anti-nausea pill. It's a dissolvable pill that rests on your tongue. Depending on what brand you get, they taste better or worse, and they dissolve better or worse. The ones that I have now honestly don't dissolve that well. I have gotten a different brand from him, and so like the ones I have now, I think are called Amox something or other. He's got multiple different brands, and what it is a pill that will dissolve on your tongue, and it will stop vomiting in its tracks. It has prevented 99% of my vomiting cases. I started using this. I got this drug. I have a strange vomit problem. If I start vomiting, once I start vomiting, I very rarely stop. Vomiting is usually caused by me from intense dehydration. I get so dehydrated to the point that my body starts rejecting anything I put in it, and it starts this cyclical vomiting process where I'll completely empty my stomach, and then I'll try to put anything I try to put in it, it'll just reject, and I'll be throwing up bile and dry heaving, and it's horrific. I think it's pretty safe to say that vomiting is despised by the vast majority of Americans. And so if you keep these on hand, they come in 4 milligram tabs. Generally 4 milligrams is enough to kick it. On extremely bad cases, I've taken 8 milligrams. The only warning that I would give you is if you have something like food poisoning, you know, if you think you've got food poisoning, probably not the time you want to use this, because you definitely need to be getting it out. But like stomach viruses, pneumonia that I've had, certainly if you go out and drink too much alcohol and get hungover, I cannot tell you the number of times I've used it to stop that kind of vomiting. You know, your kid gets sick in the car on a road trip. I mean, this stuff should just be in your wife's purse. It has saved more than one road trip, more than one really bad event. For some reason, it's a pain in the ass to get your doctor to write. They always want you to go to the fucking hospital first and find out why you're vomiting. It's total horse shit. And it's not terribly cheap, I don't think, in America without insurance. All of the drugs that you can get, and there are thousands of them with PCT24x7, are extremely well priced. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time, I think, finding drugs any cheaper than this. And then with the added comfort of knowing they're pharma grade, every drug comes in its own, however that particular brand, you know, boxed it. So sometimes it'll be a box with blister packs, with the date of creation, the batch numbers, like everything. It's legit as fuck. To give you an idea real quickly, in case you're already bored and you just want to go order drugs, I have used their ondansetron. I have used their their telmisartan. I've used their amoxicillin. Metronidazole saved me from my first case of C. diff. I have used, there's so many. It's my wife uses she takes Wellbutrin. She can get the Wellbutrin with no insurance from PCT24x7 for less than going to the pharmacy here and using GoodRx. And then she doesn't have to fucking dick with her doctor screwing around with her refills. It's always, everything in America is a fucking pain in the ass when it comes to drugs. I get my Zopiclone sleeping pill from him because, again, trying to get my fucking Ambien refilled is like, it's just a total fucking nightmare. It'll give you a panic attack. You'll realize you don't have pills, and then it's like a fucking Sunday, and then you're gonna go through withdrawal. And so I said, fuck it, and that's why I started transitioning myself off of Ambien onto Zopiclone. So we're talking about everything you can imagine: heart, blood pressure, statins, antibiotics. He's got some roids on there. Like the legit, pharma grade testosterone depot. He's got for the ladies, your vaginal creams, your estrogen creams, progesterone pills. I mean, pretty much you name it, this guy has got it. It's just a huge list. It's where I get my caber. So that's how I actually came across PCT24x7. Is that caber, as you well know, is a staple, and I run it practically year-round, generally year-round, because I run Trend year-round, and I could not find a source of caber that was not trying to charge me just 2 arms and half of a fucking leg. And so I've bought a metric ton of caber from this guy. So all of your ancillaries, one of the things, I've plugged QSC on here a couple of times, but they're not allowed to produce any pills. Everything comes in powder. And so if you need Adex, you can get it from QSC, but you're going to have to figure out a way to, you just can't do it, because you need to be able to weigh out 0.5 to 1 milligrams of powder. And even the best microgram scale I've been able to find only goes, the lowest it'll register is 4 milligrams. So trying to measure out a milligram is a joke anyway. So for your Adex, your cabergoline, what else would you take ancillary wise? Like, I think he's got Nolvadex, like all your SERMs, anything like that. Again, I keep antibiotics on hand at all times in case somebody gets sick. If I get an abscess, if I have a tooth abscess, I keep the ondansetron on hand at all times. I've also been, during this bout of pneumonia, I've been taking cyclobenzaprine, which is a muscle relaxer that I got from PCT24x7. Man, the list goes on and on. This guy can turn you into your own personal pharmacy overnight. I mean, really, it really just comes down to how much you feel comfortable stocking on the shelves in your house. Because you could basically, doing business, you could start your own pharmacy pretty much, like with this guy being your business associate. Obviously, and only if it was legal, where obviously you would need to go through all the proper channels. But since I've been producing so much boring content, and since a lot of guys, I think, I know when I started doing Trend, and I kept reading about how great caber was, and I kept pushing it off because it was like, I can't find it. None of my normal sources have it. The sources that have it were expensive. I've heard all these stories about how harsh it is, how toxic it is. Nothing could be further from the truth. And once you find a source that takes good care of you and has quality products, it takes all of that extra guesswork out of the equation. And so caber is just in there. Like, I just never go without it. Shipping time is usually very good, anywhere between 5 days, maybe 10 days at a maximum. I think possibly it's taken. I think that was only because I had quite a large order and it got shipped into two packages. I'm not getting into his OPSEC, but I've never had any problem getting my meds delivered, and he doesn't deal in anything that's a big red flag. So you're not going to be able to find any kind of benzos or opiates or anything like that. This is purely really your ancillaries and other kind of pharmaceuticals that you would need, you know, for situations like this. And so, like I said, that's why I wanted to give this guy a shout out. He's always taken really good care of me, and you know, if not for him, I would have been suffering substantially more during this bout of illness, because the very early on with this pneumonia, I started getting I was gonna vomit. Like, I could feel it coming, and being able to just immediately get in my stash and grab it on Dancitron and pop it and have it stop the vomiting. I haven't vomited a single time the entire time that I've had this disease, and I've probably taken on Dancitron 4 times now. So right then and there, it just like that to me, like those 4 missed vomiting occasions, just that it's weight in gold. When I got C. diff the first time, I immediately ordered metronidazole, and it knocked it out, which saved me a trip to a doctor who was going to take a stool sample, who was going to send it off, and I was going to wait 4 days while shitting all over myself for them to come back and tell me, hey, yeah, you definitely have what you already knew that you have. And so then for him to cut a prescription and then go get it, and it's like you can just skip all that bullshit. And so if you're a human being, if you're an athlete like me, and you don't really spend a lot of time going to a primary care physician, you know, I do all my own blood work, I source all my own meds. Very rarely do I have use for a doctor. And even then, I've got a couple of buddies who are MDs now who've kind of stepped up to the plate and helped me when I got into a bind. So you can get a lot of your psych drugs on there. Just shoot the guy an email, ask for his price list. Don't break any laws in whatever country you're living in. And he's usually really good at with communication, and orders go out quick, and they come in a timely fashion. And once you see the packaging and everything, I think you'll be very happy. The products, every single one, I must have used 50 different products now, maybe that's a stretch. A lot. There's a lot. I've used a variety of products across the entire gamut. Everything from psych meds for my wife to antibiotics to anti-nausea meds, everything. And everything has been totally fucking legit. It's been dosed exactly as I would expect based on my results. So I cannot say enough good things. Usually I take some time, and I before I plug somebody, I want to have gotten, you know, several orders under my belt. And I have ordered from this guy quite a number of times. I've even invited him to our Discord. I'm gonna let him know I made this video. Maybe he'll pop up in our Discord and set up his own channel in there to answer any of you guys' questions. I know many of you are already using him, but if you're coming to my channel and you're looking for ideas of businesses that you want to, you know, that you want to patronize, and you do so in a perfectly legal and ethical manner, then this gentleman is one of a kind and can certainly take care of a huge variety of your needs. So there you have it as far as PCT24x7 goes. Again, nothing but good things to say about him. So if you're watching this video, brother, I would just like to say thank you very much for what you do. You saved me untold amounts of suffering and agony and misery with my head in the toilet and various other things. The cyclobenzaprine has really been helping with the muscle aches and cramps and helping me get good sleep at night. And then obviously I get my sleeping pills from there, so I wouldn't be sleeping at all. I mean, this guy has literally been a lifesaver for me, and there's just no telling the thousands or hundreds of hundreds of dollars for sure, likely thousands of dollars in medical bills that I have not had to pay because I have had this guy in my corner. So I wanted to spread the wealth around again. Thank you to everybody who's been following along with these videos and this illness. I am feeling better today again. I'm hoping to start trying to get some solid foods in and start getting my body weight and my energy back up. I think half the reason that I feel as badly as I do at this point is just because I've been in a gigantic calorie deficit, and so I just don't have any fuel. The body has no fuel, and without any fuel, obviously there's a limit to what you can get done. So I can sense that I'm starting to lose my focus and drone on. So I will let you go. As always, thank you for watching this video. Definitely check out PCT24x7. Let them know that Trimmy #1 sent you, and I would appreciate that. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.